Center, a 7'2" sophomore from Omaha, Nebraska, number 25, Richard King. At guard, a 6'2" senior from Brooklyn, New York, number 15, Eric Johnson. And at guard, a 6'2" sophomore from Maywood, Illinois, number 23, Clifford Scales.
Come on, ready? Let's go.
For the Missouri Tigers, at forward, a 6'10" sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, number 34, Doug Smith. At forward, a 6'8" senior from Washington, Missouri, number 42, Mike Sandody. At center, a 7'1" senior from Belleville, Illinois, number 52, Gary Leonard. At guard, a 6'1" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 4, Lee Coward. And the other guard, a 6'4" freshman from Kansas City, Missouri, number 44, Anthony Peeler.
The officials for this one, Ron Zetcher from Chesterfield, Missouri on the left, Jim Harvey from Dallas, Texas, Charlie Green of Oklahoma City. Ron Grissom is the standby official, and we'll be back with the tip-off in a moment. Retransmission or use of the video or audio portions of this program without the written permission of Raycom Sports and Entertainment is forbidden. And it'll be Doug Smith in white from Missouri going up against King for Nebraska. Nebraska in their red. And the tap out of bounds here on the near side. It will belong to Missouri. 167th meeting. Series goes back to 1907. Missouri leads at 93-73. This is Peeler, the brilliant freshman from the Kansas City area. Lee Coward, number 4 out front. Nebraska going man-to-man.
See if Missouri starts going to Leonard inside. Almost every game they started out trying to get the ball to him inside and you get a jump ball.
And the tie-up, and the arrow gives the ball to Nebraska. They did go to Leonard right off the bat, Gary. Missouri averaging 87.1 per game. The Cornhuskers 77 points per game. Cornhuskers 5-12 in tournament play over the years. Missouri 18-9 in the tournament. Missouri 24-7 on the year, 10-4 in conference play, second ranked, and 10th ranked in the nation. And Von Pulge cuts the cords to put Nebraska up. They got 3-0 on the board. That wasn't a 3.
Wasn't a 3-pointer.
Now they took one off. They sure moved that line on me. Peeler, the left-hander. His shot won't go, and King is there to rebound for Nebraska. And back to the attack, number 15, Eric Johnson. Johnson, the senior from Brooklyn, New York.
Both clubs opened up man for man, and Nebraska going up against this 10th-rated Missouri team. The one thing they have to do, I think, Jay, is to stay close in this ball game through the first 25-30 minutes, and they've got a chance. They can't get run out like they did at Columbia the last game where Missouri jumped out 23-5.
Well, that's what Colorado was able to do against Oklahoma. They lost that double overtime thriller here, 95-87 to Oklahoma, but what a job by Colorado with Blaylock sitting on the Oklahoma bench. As you mentioned, Urban sitting it out right now for the Tigers. He's expected to play. Here's the jumper by Eric Johnson. It won't go. King has the rebound, taken away from him by Peeler. Peeler, quick as a cat.
Saved 2 points on that end for Missouri by Doug Smith. Came over on the back cut and kept Scales from taking it up to the bucket.
Doug Smith gets it into Leonard. Leonard has it batted away from him, and the foul will go against Von Pulge. That's his first.
Well, as we said, the pattern for Missouri has been to start out with Leonard. If he delivers, they stay with him. If not, they'll get Church off the bench, who's been red hot. There you see Leonard going up. Von Pulge reaches and grabs, picks up his first personal.
Gary Leonard, 7'1" giant, Belleville East High School. He made no bones about it last week. He wanted more playing time. Without their head coach, Norm Stewart, who had the cancer surgery back in mid-February, it's natural, I suppose, that if things don't go the way you want them, You've got to build in an excuse.
Jay, let me say one thing. I'm not reflecting on this game at all. I'm just reflecting on Missouri, who's a cinch for the NCAA tournament. I hope that whatever problems, if they are real, that we've been reading about, that maybe Al Eberhard and influence the former players to say, hey, guys, you're going to throw away a great opportunity if you don't forget things and just play basketball the way you can play it.
Nice play inside by Lee Coward as he banked it off the glass. Missouri has the lead 3-2. Well, it's a very talented bunch of Tigers out there. Earlier in the year, they beat North Carolina, of course. They have a win over Oklahoma. Played a very rough schedule. King getting it back out. The jumper by Scales is down.
When I talked with Danny Nee, and one of the things he said, Gary said, we've got to have scoring performance out of our three sophomores, Scales, Reed, and King. He said in the games against Missouri, we'll get two guys. He said we've got to have them, all three of them get near their average.
The jumper by Smith won't go. And the rebound taken down by Johnson. Johnson for the Huskers. Brings it down off to Bo Reed for a 15-footer. And high into the air to rebound is Smith. He wheels it out to the far side to Peeler, and back come the Tigers. 17 minutes to play, first half. Game 3 of the opening round of the Big 8 basketball tournament here in Kansas City. Hope you're enjoying the action wherever you are.
And Smith directing traffic. He wanted the Coward to come over. He's got the clear side and looking for down on the low post. And that's where he needs to shoot the ball, I think, to get back on track. Jay, the first one, he banged up there hard. He has been struggling shooting. I think he needs to get back right in that area around the block and the paint for a while.
There's Coward with a move inside. Coward has 4 points.
And Coward back in the starting lineup. Peeler kind of replaced him the last 5 ball games. Coward back in there because of Irvin's injury.
They had a lot of success with that 3-guard offense with Irwin, Coward, and Peeler. On Poolgers can't get it down. Sam Bodie rebounds. Sam Bodie the far side. Coward takes it in, jumps it up, and it's over the backboard and out of play, and it'll belong to Nebraska as we have 16:09 to play in the first half here. Missouri leading it 5-4. There is Rich Daly, a native of Moberly, Missouri. 4-4 since taking over for Norm Stewart. And a man who's really had his hands full and handled it all so very, very well.
Nebraska running a little motion offense, running off some picks. There's the big guy inside, 2 big guys. And Leonard getting the block, thinks he has it, but gets called for the foul.
And number 1 on Leonard. On the line, Rich King. King, 7'2", the tallest player in the Big 8. Out of Burke High in Omaha, Nebraska. 7'2" and only 19 years old. King, only a 64.8% free throw shooter.
Looked better than 64% on that shot, Jay. Everything was nice, release, follow through, good rotation on the basketball.
Score tied at 5, and King misses here. Peeler spinning in the lane. It wouldn't go, but a foul is charged on Eric Johnson. Johnson, the senior, his first. Team foul number 4 as we look at Danny Nee, and now this replay.
Peeler a crossover dribble and then reverse, steps in, and Johnson going up right there, nicks him on the arm as he goes up for the shot. Peeler to the line for 2.
3-time All-Metro here in the Kansas City area. Played at Paseo in Kansas City, Missouri. He's a 75.7% free throw shooter. Peeler, one of the outstanding freshmen, averaging 10.5 a game.
Made the all-freshman team and chased along with Byron Houston, Sean Bandit.
Missouri is up by 2. The score 7-5, 15:47 left in the first half. Now this from Phillips, 66. Is up by 2. And both clubs a little bit tight here in the Orla going. Field goal shooting, not what you would like it to be if you're coaching one of these clubs. Team fouls, 2 for Nebraska and 1 for Missouri. We had that wrong for you a moment ago when we gave one of them 4. 7-5.
The team percentage is shooting on the year. Missouri second in the league, 51.8. Nebraska riding right down there at 7th place in the league, 47.2. Good bounce back.
And it is tied up for the second time as Von Pulge's got it down. We're at 7-7.
He's got that little left-hand hook, and he can be pretty effective with it, averaging 8 points a game. The only starter not in double figures for Nebraska.
Gary Leonard right back. Leonard now with 3 points.
Well, I've seen Leonard this year play some inspired basketball, and when he does, he can be awesome.
This pace, Gary, I would think would suit Nebraska just fine. And, of course, we have to mention, as that shot was put up by Johnson, that the Tigers are without the man that makes them go, Byron Irvin, in underneath. Lee Coward, he decides to come back out in a wise decision under the circumstances.
Irvin can play, as I understand, but if things go well, they might just sit him out the entire ball game if they can have a lead and be in good shape. As you look at Rich Daly is taking over this club from
there's Al Eberhard, who you mentioned. What a great player he was. The blonde right in the middle there. That last foul was on King.
And I saw him play this year at a game over at Missouri, at an Old Timers game, and he plays in the Old Timers game just like he did when he was in Missouri. He's falling out of bounds, diving on the floor for balls.
Leonard double team. Coward back into Leonard. Leonard takes it in and gets it. Good strong move that time. At one point he was triple teamed under there. 11-7 Missouri. 14 minutes to play. First half.
Well, unless Rich King gets some help down there, I think Leonard's going to be able to handle him pretty good.
Leonard with 5, leading all scorers in the early going. Von Pulgis back out to Johnson. 23 out there. Scales around to Bo Reed. He works by Sandbody but doesn't fire. Pulgis inside misses. Peeler comes out of there. Ball batted away from him. It'll belong to Missouri. Into the game for Nebraska will come Ray Richardson, number 44. He's battling a little cold. And Pete Manning, number 35. And going out, King and Scales.
Well, Richardson missed the shoot-around today for Nebraska. He got a little touch of the flu, so was not involved in that. He's in the ball game already with 13 minutes to go.
The Tigers have won 5 of the last 6 meetings between these clubs. That's Peeler with a nice soft shot along the line, and Missouri's up 13-7. Peeler has half a dozen. Reed trying to get it in there to Manning, who just came into the game. Back out. Now they move it under Von Pulgis. Walk. Traveling call. The turnover is the second against Nebraska.
Danny Nee, 6 years at Ohio University before coming to Nebraska.
King coming back in. Von Pulgis going out. Missouri 13-7. 13 minutes to go, first half. Third game of the opening round. Iowa State over Oklahoma State, 88-69 in game 1, and then Oklahoma, it took them double overtime to get rid of Colorado, 95-87. That foul charged to Bo Reed. It's team foul number 4, Reed's first.
We'll see this. Well, we're back here live. I was going to say Bo Reed picking up his first foul. His dad, one of the assistant coaches, Arden Reed.
Coward with a three-point try. Got nothing. Tap back in. Long pass from Richardson down court to Johnson. Johnson trying to force it in under, and he made the wrong move, Gary. He was in too much of a hurry.
And that's going to get him out of the ball game, because that's one of the things that Johnson has broken down in. Nebraska wants to stay with their stuff. Too many times he freelance on his own, and talking with their coaches, nothing good's been happening out of it. Everything happens bad like that right there, turnover.
Coward in the lane, nice spin move, and Coward now has a total of 6.
See, that's the kind of shot Coward needed early. He took that off-balance three-pointer moments ago because he's been struggling. He's only shot 37% from the field in the last 10 ball games. You need to get something good, get it down, get a little confidence.
Bo Reed almost lost it, and he did. He turned it over. And it's going to be Scales returning for Nebraska as Eric Johnson goes to the bench. There's a look at Bo Reed.
Leads the scoring for Nebraska, a sophomore, 12.3 points a game, but that time covered by one of the best defensive players in the Big 8 Conference, Mike Sandbody, who again was named to the Big 8 All-Defensive Team. Good lob pass.
It didn't work, though. Smith came up a little short. Now Sandbody with the interception. Back down to Doug Smith. Smith banks it off the glass.
When Ray Richardson just throwing that to nobody because his teammate, Danny Nee, I said, was not Not looking for the pass. He had his head turned completely away.
Danny Nee is upset with Pete Manning. Calls the timeout. Missouri has popped out to a 10-point lead. More in a moment. Entertainment proudly presents the 10th Annual Emmy Awards for Sports. It's coming in April. You'll want to check your local listings. 17-7, Missouri. Bo Reed ready to put in play. The Tigers have outscored Nebraska 8-0 in the last 2:15 of action. Bo Reed bringing it down against some pressure from the Tigers. And Reed's pass goes awry as he tried to get it to Pete Manning along the line.
Well, poor pass is right at his feet. A tough pass to handle, and he couldn't handle it.
Coward. Back to Sandbody. Coward has to pick up a lot of slack with Irvin out of there, Gary. Here's Leonard along the line. Back to Sandbody. Peeler to Leonard. His fall-away jumper is through. Leonard looking good inside. It's 19-7, Missouri by a dozen.
That's a 12-2 run by the Tigers right now against the Huskers.
Reed trying to get something going.
Missouri, the defense packed in there tight.
Nice fall-away jumper by King from about 6 feet out. 19-9. Missouri has the lead. Missouri coming in here with a 24-7 record, ranked 10th in the nation. Nebraska ended up regular season play 16-14, 4-10 in the conference in the number 7 spot.
King had his career high against the Tigers, 22 points in Columbia, but it has not been in double figures only once, and that was it in the last 4 or 5 games.
Leonard bounces it out to Smith, and now Sandbody. Coward's going for three. He got it. And Coward taking up that slack, as we mentioned, with Irvin sitting it out. 22-9, Missouri.
Well, that's his 51st three-point goal. He has the Missouri single-season record, 51. He set it last year, so he breaks his own record. He had 39 last season.
Nebraska went 2:52 without scoring since their last bucket. And 7 turnovers now for Nebraska. And we reached the midway point of this first half with the Tigers in very good shape. Sandbody. Out to Coward, another three. This one wouldn't go, and the rebound taken down by Scales. Scales on the run for the Huskers. Off it comes, and the shot put up by Pete Manning, and a foul call. A foul charged to Doug Smith is his first.
Well, the first couple of years we saw Nebraska really running. This year they haven't quite run as much as they have. Good pass here. As you see, it's out in front. Smith goes over as Manning tries to get it up high. Manning gets the foul, and Smith has been in a lot of foul trouble this year. 18 times he's had 4 or more fouls.
Eric Johnson's come back into the game for the Huskers, and now Greg Church, who has played brilliantly for the Tigers, replaces Sandbody. There's Church, number 33. He's a senior from Palmyra, Missouri, on the all-bench team this year. And Church averaging 8.8 a game. There comes Byron Irvin, and the Tiger fans come to their feet. Byron Irvin coming in to replace Anthony Peeler. And on the free throw line, Pete Manning, 6'8", senior, Ewing High School, Trenton, New Jersey, came out of Seminole Junior College. Manning averaging 10.2 a game and shooting better than 73% at the line.
Last year, Pete Manning led the Big 8 in field goal percentage, 59%. Guess what? This year, that percentage would get you 8th place. So some great shooting going on in the Big 8 conference.
Danny Nee has Von Polgees ready to come back in when he has the opportunity. Howard and Smith and Church and Leonard and Irvin on the court now. The pass underneath there to Byron Irvin. That's two.
That's a nice way to break
it. What a feed by Coward underneath. Missouri showing excellent quickness, up by 15.
Huskers that time going 2-3 zone.
King in tight against Leonard. Back out it comes. Smith battles for it, and it's picked up on the far side by Coward. Coward in the lane, back to Smith, and the ball batted out of bounds. It'll belong to Missouri. We'll run through some scores for you. A lot of action today. The big upset, Maryland over North Carolina State. Von Polgees coming back into the lineup there, and Manning going out. Seton Hall got by Connecticut. TCU with a big win for Mo Iba. Used to coach the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Coward almost, or Church almost handled that, but didn't, and it was picked up by Johnson. That was only the second Missouri turnover. 8:59 to play. Von Krugis, it won't go. What do we have here? An offensive goaltending call? No, just a call against King.
Close maybe on grabbing the rim, too. You see, they've been doing a nice job. Hide a load of Von Krugis underneath. And you see King coming over the top, also grabbing the rim.
Danny Nee sending out some signals. Leonard goes to the bench. He and Sandbody sitting it out. Irvin, Church, Smith, Coward. There's Church underneath. Back it comes. And Irvin puts it up, and he gets it, and he was fouled, and he'll have the three-point opportunity.
Irvin, the third leading scorer in the Big 8 Conference. He's made an immediate impact here in this ball game. 2 for 2. You see the pass right here to Church. He's not going to be able to find anything, and now just shovels the pass, flips it out to Irvin. He comes in, left hands it up, gets it, goes for the three-point play the conventional way.
Look at this score. Arizona only up by 3 at halftime against Washington State. Smith comes out of the lineup, and in for Missouri, Jamal Coleman, number 32, and Nathan Button, number 22, is in the lineup now for the Tigers also. Irvin with the three-point play. And now returning, Pete Manning, number 35 for Nebraska, as King gets a rest. King now with his third personal foul. Syracuse got by Providence this afternoon, and Vanderbilt over Kentucky in rather easy fashion. Texas a 2-point win over SMU down in Dallas in the Southwest Conference tournament. Banked up and in nicely. Clifford Scales. 27-12. Missouri's lead is 15. Howard and Coleman, Bunton, Church, and Irvin on the court for the Tigers.
Surprised to see Jamal Coleman this early in the ballgame. He has not seen that much playing time.
Irvin. Oh, yes. He's feeling it.
1-3.
That hip pointer problem doesn't appear to be too much right now. 30 to 12, the 18-point lead. And with a turnaround shot won't go. Rebounded by Coleman.
Coleman, a good leaper.
He's a freshman from Colorado, out of Denver.
High school player of the year out there.
Long pass goes to Scales. Scales taking it in under, and a charge. Irvin played that beautifully.
On the sophomore, Clifford Scales here. He's walking back, gets out of control, gets up in the air, and no place to go. Watch Scales. Irvin just sitting there waiting for him, trying to come back to the inside of Scales, but can't do it.
Irvin was really camped out, wasn't he? Timeout. 7:39 to play. Missouri leading 30-12. Now this message from your friends at Phillips 66.
Here's a summary so far in the ball game. You see the shooting percentage just jumps right out at you. Missouri 60%, Nebraska only 38%. Rebounding, Nebraska surprisingly holding in there with Missouri. Top rebounding club in the Big 8 Conference there. Only down 3 is Nebraska in the rebound column.
Keeler and Irwin, Church, Button, and Coleman. Coleman with a jumper. Rebounded away by number 35, Pete Manning. Back in Eric Johnson for Nebraska. He's got that basketball right now.
Nebraska trying to run that motion offense. They've been successful coming from the high post net position down low. There they got Von Krugis down there. Good bounce pass. Missouri, Jay, playing good, tough defense right now. Good, tough defense.
Shot clock's down to 12. And banked up and in. Nice play by Clifford Scales. Scales, a sophomore out of Westchester St. Joseph, Maywood, Illinois. He has 6 points. 6:40 to play. And Irvin.
Good fade by Irvin.
He is the leading scorer. Of course, he sat on the bench the first few moments. He has 8. Church inside. Nice move by Church. Church's play has just been brilliant in recent weeks.
He's phenomenal. He's shooting 68%. That would be tops in the Big 8 if he had 5 more shots. He's under the minimum by 5 shots. He's got a chance to set a Missouri field goal shooting record this year because the best record up to now is 63.6%.
That foul charge to Byron Urban. Urban's out of Julian High in Chicago, averaging 19.6, transferred to Missouri from Arkansas. One of the items that stands the Tigers in very good stead is this shot goes up from Richardson, and there's a foul underneath on Church. One of the items that the Tigers have going for them, Gary, is their depth. They really can come at you in waves.
Yeah, they've got a good, solid ball club. This guy adds the depth coming off that bench. Peeler early was in that position. Coward now coming off the bench. And they've got some veterans, and they've got good role players that know their roles and play to it.
Eric Johnson, 32-17, Missouri. Coleman getting a lot of playing time here in the first half. Byron Urban. Underneath. 2 more for Church. Church with 4 points.
Okay, here's the stats on Church in the last 3 ball games. 23 points, just a plus, and 24 out of 28 field goals. That's 85%. He's had 18 rebounds and 22 of his last 25 free throws. What more could you do than that?
That's why I said remarkable, Gary. Remarkable.
Gets in double figures 13 times.
Johnson in a little trouble, but he was able to get it out to Scales. Missouri, as you mentioned, really scratching on defense. Von Poelgeest around to Richardson. Richardson, the floater, under 2. Von Poelgeest for 2. And that's 6 for Von Poelgeest. It's 34-19. Missouri by 15. 5 minutes to go, first half. The winner of this game will meet the winner of the Kansas K-State game, which will follow tomorrow at 1. Iowa State and Oklahoma hook up in the first semifinal game.
What a battle that was, Jay, in that second game this afternoon. Colorado playing the way they had to play. They slowed the ball game down. You wouldn't believe it by the final score, and had their chances to win in the first overtime.
Yeah, they were up by 6, weren't they? Coleman goes to the bench. Coward is back in. Byron Urban on the free throw line. Urban, they call him B.I. He's high this year, 35 against Virginia Tech. They're 47 years old. Rich Daly, you saw him there. His 6th year working with Norm Stewart at Missouri. Thrust into the job as the acting coach after the surgery to Coach Stewart. Send along our best to the dean of the Big 8 coaches tonight. No, he's watching in Columbia. A jumper by Johnson for 3.
Johnson shooting.
This Nebraska bunch, pretty good shooting from outside as they battle back now to a 36-22 deficit. Church double team. Look out. They lose it. Turnover.
The man out in front.
And the pass to Johnson. And he got it down. And one of the basket players is hurt up at half court.
Scales.
That's Clifford Scales. Like he maybe has a cramp or banged his left knee. Bo Reed comes back in along with 00 DePreez Owens. Sandbody's back in for Missouri. Leonard's back in for Missouri. Oh, it is Reed along with Richardson, DePreez Owens, Pete Manning, and Eric Johnson on the court for Nebraska.
Bo Reed, one of the sophomores we talked about, he's had Mike Sandbody on him when he's in the ballgame. Has not scored so far. We only have less than 4 minutes to play.
Byron Urban going in the lane, fouled. And let's see, are they going to call it on Ray Richardson, or are they going to call it on Johnson?
Eric Johnson.
Eric Johnson. Johnson now with his 3rd personal foul. Danny Nee. He's 42 years old. high school coach in New Jersey, once an assistant to Digger Phelps at Notre Dame. And the free throw for Byron Irvin.
And Byron Irvin goes to that line an awful lot. He's been there almost double any other Missouri Tiger. Not afraid to take the ball to the basket.
And that makes it a 38-24 score. 3:54 remaining in the first half. Well, our old friend Curry Kirkpatrick of Sports Illustrated joins us after a little special activity that he had. That double overtime made you do some running around.
Well, Jay, and I didn't go out to have any beers with Mookie Blaylock either.
Okay.
You don't get paid overtime for that either, you know.
And down court, the score for Johnson. That makes it 38-26. And there is a beautiful pass coming from Howard in underneath to Leonard, and the left with a big smile on his face.
Yes, he lost the handle of it. It bounced up off the board and went in. Jay, here's a milestone here for Byron Irvin. He just scored his 600th point this season. The fourth player in Missouri history to do that. The other three guys, look at these names. Gary Chivas, Steve Stepanovich, and Willie Smith. Four good players.
I think another remarkable thing about Byron Irvin, he's played for 4 coaches. I don't know if you've mentioned that, but at Arkansas he was under Eddie Sutton and Nolan Richardson both. Of course, and now at Missouri, Norm Stewart and now
Daly.
Rich Daly, of course, the assistant taking over for Norm.
From the corner, Peeler pops. It won't go. Leonard back out to Peeler. Into Sandbody. The one-hander is up and got it. Sandbody quick with that little shot in the lane. He just flopped it up there. 42-26 Missouri, 2:40 to play. First half action, game 3 of the Big 8 tournament. First round action. We've already got Oklahoma and Iowa State in the semifinals in game 1 tomorrow afternoon. That foul charge. And it'll be a 1-and-1 situation. That's the 17th foul against Nebraska. Foul charge on Pete Manning. And Peeler will go to the line.
You know, the thing that Danny Nee was scared of was just a game to get away early, and right now Missouri certainly controlling it, 42-26.
Shot is up. As we mentioned, that foul was on Manning. 43-26. 2.5 to play.
Young man, his freshman year, 18 double-figure games with the Huskers. Coming off the bench.
Out it comes to Bo Reed. Reed with a bounce pass. Beautiful play. Up and in. Nice job that time by DePriest Owens. Owens, the freshman from Mansfield, Ohio.
Came in a highly touted kid. He was the MVP in the Ohio-Kentucky All-Star game. Has found it difficult here in the Big 8 adjusting after having such great credentials in high school.
Leonard missing inside. Sandbody missing. They battle, and it comes out to Coward. Coward shovels it to Peeler for 2.
Well, I tell you what, he did a great job there was he accelerated into the middle, looking to see which of the wing went to be open. He drew the defense and then shoveled it off.
45-28. The Tigers lead the Huskers. Johnson outside. DePriest Owens, 0-0. Trying to get a pass in under to Nebraska. Bo Reed.
Well, take a look at Coward here as he penetrates. Change of pace, accelerates right in there now, draws the defense. You see the middleman go in and take Coward and then dishes it off, gets the easy 2. Good play.
Here's Johnson putting up the little jumper. Rebound, Bo Reed. And a foul on Byron Irvin.
One of the assistant coaches there helping
Dwight Evans. He's been doing some of the recruiting now. That's been his big job in the last few weeks.
And of course, there's Rich Daly. I have to apologize. I momentarily forgot his name. I was staring right at him, and that tie just blew my mind. I couldn't remember his name. His tie, great tie.
DePriest Owens put it up. Sandbody got the rebound out to Peeler. Minute and 20 to go in the first half. Irvin underneath. Coward brings it back out with a great big smile. He thought that Byron was going to fire. Now he does. He comes up short. Sandbody rebound. Sandbody tough inside. Leonard now. It won't go. They battle it up there, and I don't know who they're going to give it to. Peeler says he wants it. Peeler says he got it.
When you're in a mixmaster like that, Jay, put up your hand. You're liable to get 2.
Well, they gave it to him. 47-28 as Peeler gets 2 more. 11 7 points now for Peeler. 45 seconds remaining. This has been a slick first half for Missouri. The jumper by Ray Richardson, three-pointer.
He's a 40% shooter from that range. He's taken a lot of three-point shots, 125, hit 50.
The lead is 16 for the Tigers. Shot clock off. They'll play for one. 20 seconds remaining, first half.
Tigers seem to be hitting on all cylinders here tonight, Jay. They've struggled sometimes, but looking more like the Missouri Tigers of old.
Peeler taking it in, tries to get it to Leonard. He holds on. Back out it comes. 3 seconds. Sandbody with the jumper. It doesn't go. And at halftime, Missouri 47 and the Nebraska Cornhuskers 31. And a push-off underneath. Foul on Smith. Well, let's watch Gary Leonard, the big guy. 7-1 underneath here.
Good lob pass inside. A little whack there by Reed. He steps through, shows his strength, and then just goes right around Von Pugis. Lays it in. That's 11 points. Here's Peeler on the other side. Watch him right here as he goes one way and feeds it to Smith.
And here's another one.
And here is Smith again. Getting it from Peeler.
It's just a dunk-a-thon now.
53-31 Missouri. Tigers about to break this one wide open.
Well, Smith named to the UPI second team All-Big 8. Also the players voted in that position.
And Doug Smith with the lead to Coward.
Oh, a little showtime there. Coward taking it one hand all the way and laid up off the glass. And the Tigers have really busted this out.
Rich Daly on the far side's loving it. And so are the Tiger fans who've come here in droves. Missouri's outscored Nebraska 8-0 in the last 122, and the Huskers are in deep trouble. Van Poelgeest finds an opening. He's fouled by Leonard. Or was it out front? He may have been fouled by Peeler. Let's see.
Von Pugis going from the high post this time, just taking on the drive, and the ball gets flicked away. Von Pugis goes to the line. Good strong drive by the kid from, what is it, Rijswijk, Netherlands.
That's right. There's Rich Daly, 47 years old. Spent 5 years as an assistant at Tennessee Chattanooga and a former head coach at Pensacola, Florida Junior College.
We watch Von Pugis miss, and there's Dan and me shouting some instructions, but Von Pugis played on the Dutch national team this summer in the Olympic qualifying round. Averaged about 12 points for him. Excuse me, sir.
He's got the Drago haircut. They call him Drago at Nebraska.
Well, they said he came to school like Bambi and is going to leave like Drago. I don't know. 55-32, Tigers. Howard looking in. There's a foul underneath, and King and Von Pugis were around Leonard. And it's a holding foul. Von Pugis.
Well, Leonard bothered by a bruised back this past week. Hasn't showed any effects from it here. He's been playing hard.
Sandbody tried to get it to Smith. They turned it over. Now the ball hits Sandbody, and they say it was on his toe.
Well, you saw Rich Daly. He was holding up his hands because it's supposed to be an intentional kick. And Rich Daly didn't think it was intentional. It just happened to hit him on the pass.
This is the 13th year for the Big 8 tournament. Of course, we're happy to be associated with Phillips 66 again, who have meant so much to basketball throughout the great Midwest and the Big 8 area. 18:01 to play in this one. Missouri in control, 55-32. That foul on Leonard is his second, and King will go to the line. The sophomore, the 7-2 man.
He did a number on Leonard that time. He really got him pushed in deep, got that ball where he could receive it right in the paint.
He had 22 points at Missouri. Missouri won both games during the regular season.
Here you see what he's done as a shot blocker.
That's tapped up, but it will be overruled. We have a lane violation. King will go back to the line. Nebraska's last win over Missouri in Kansas City was a 58-56 overtime win in the first round of the 1978 holiday tournament. Gary, you remember when we used to have the old holiday tournaments here? King gets it down. 18 minutes to play. Tigers lead at 55-34.
Just flip-flopped it and put it at the end of the season, right?
Means a little more over here with that number 1 seed in the NCAA.
Ooh, boy.
Leonard got racked underneath there.
Boy, and he racked Reed.
Reed took a shot in the mouth also. Look at Reed. Wow.
Thank goodness for the mouth guard as he takes it out.
I think
Might have saved some teeth. Watch Leonard here now. Comes around and he sticks an elbow right in his face.
that might have changed the configuration of that mouth guard a little bit.
Right. Look at that. Whoo, does he get whopped?
Coward out front.
Well, they talk about the rough stuff in the Big Ten. I mean, this conference today has seen some hard knocks.
Oh, how about this afternoon? Bourne had to have 12 stitches in his cheek. Leonard getting that bucket, and Leonard now has 13. Reed getting it into King. King scores. He's fouled by Leonard. He'll have a chance for the three-point play.
And the Huskers now challenging Leonard on defense, and King, the sophomore, delivering.
Number 3 on Leonard. He'll come out. Or no, it's going to be Smith to come out, and Church will come back in for Missouri.
Just watching here as we get this pass in there. Good bounce pass. See that Leonard cannot get to the ball, and King almost is there with a little elbow, moving Leonard out. Good job of going to the basket.
King, the player of the year in Nebraska. His senior year in high school at Burke in Omaha.
Talking about his block shots, a career high 69. He broke Andre Smith, who had 61. Nebraska fans will remember him.
Well, the Huskers have great fans, of course, throughout the state of Nebraska. They had a lot of fun in Omaha earlier this year at their sportscasters dinner honoring Tom Seekman, the professional golfer. Really enjoyed that evening up there. 57-37. Missouri by 20, 17 minutes to play. And the ball belongs to the Tigers. Rich Daly, coached at Moberly Area College. Moberly is home. Coached high school ball at Mexico, Missouri, and also here in the Kansas City area at Raytown South.
And has there ever been a guy who's come into a tougher situation in the middle of the season than Rich Daly this year?
No, Curry, I don't think so, and I have to say he's been very resilient and handled it very well. Pressure's been immense on him. That one was put up and good by Coward, who has 11. Well, and it's 60-37 Missouri.
He's been that, Jay. He's gotten it from all sides, including his own bench, where the players have given him some icy stares down here the last few weeks.
That one spun out on Ray Richardson. Well, I mentioned earlier, that can happen to you when you've got a built-in excuse. It's human nature when things don't go your way to blame the other guy, isn't it?
Well, right, and of course Gary Leonard refused to go in that game at Colorado the other week. He doesn't want to come out of this one ever, I guarantee you that.
No, they're playing tonight with a lot of verve. There's a turnover. Van Poelkies took it away in front of Church. Here's Eric Johnson. Johnson putting on a dribbling show, trying to get squared away out there with his mates. And now Bo Reed trying to get at the King. He wasn't looking. We've got a timeout with 15:54 left to play in this game, and the Tigers up 60-37. 15:54 to play. Well, we talk a lot about statistics and bench scoring. That man sitting on the bench watching his club. Missouri in this game, 16 points from the bench over the year, 26.9. Coward with Leonard, Church, Sandbody, and Peeler on the court for the Tigers. That's Peeler with a little left-handed jumper. Won't go. Church bats it out. Ray Richardson getting the rebound. Off it comes now to Johnson.
Good effort.
Johnson, was that a three-pointer? Let's see. No, only a 2, just on the line. Church holds on. Gary, you're going to make a point about
No, I was just going to say about, the effort by Church right there. You saw in the last play down, last possession for Missouri. Couldn't get a rebound, but did his best to tip it out.
Sandbody. Up to Coward. They just made that last basket a three-pointer. We get word now. Sandbody comes back inside tight. 62-40.
Another one of the things that Church can do, and that's pass the ball. Good all-around player.
Well, I believe Norm earlier this year said that Ray Church was probably his most solid player, his most consistent all season. This is the first year that he's really been injury-free, and he's had a great year.
Ray Richardson back out to Bo Reed. Reed wanted to fire, didn't, gets it into King. King over Leonard, wouldn't go, foul on Leonard. Well, Gary Thompson and Curry Kirkpatrick and yours truly be selecting the fourth player of the game at the end of this one.
Leonard picking up his third foul. You see, they got King open down there in the paint again. He takes once, goes up, and King at 7-2 just able to get up high enough away from Leonard. And Leonard leads the ball game now as Smith comes in. Leonard picking up his third foul. King's been doing an excellent job in the second half offensively.
Leonard, a communications major, a senior.
Of course, Leonard got a lot of publicity earlier this season from Marty Blake, the super scout of the NBA, who's weaseling around this arena somewhere tonight, as a matter of fact. He
Weaseling?
He said that,
I'm going to tell him you
don't
said
tell
that.
him that. Don't tell him that. He said that Leonard, would be one of the top centers, the senior centers picked in the country. And he also said earlier this year that Missouri, for the pros' purposes, had as many potential pros on their team as any team in America. And I happen to agree with him.
Byron Irvin has not played in the second half yet. That last shot from Coward wouldn't go down from three-point range. Here's Johnson.
Irvin came off that bench with the Storm. Only played 9 minutes in the first half and got 12 points. And Bo Reed still scoreless. That's one of the stories in this game.
Tried a three-pointer that time, and it wouldn't go, and Coward holds on. Rich Daly barking out some commands to his troops. Peeler to Smith. Oh, nice play off the glass. Smith scores it, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Following up on that point, let's just count these throw possibilities. We have, the entire Missouri backcourt, the three guards, Peeler, Irvin, and Coward. Even Coward probably has a chance at the NBA. And then up front, we have Doug Smith, we have Gary Leonard, and maybe even Church and Sambodi have a shot to play in the pros. So we're talking 6 and 7 guys that may be future NBA players here.
A lot of talent, and as we mentioned early in the first half before you got here, Curry, tremendous depth on this club. It should really help them get over the hump. They've lost first-round games in the NCAA tournament the past 3 years, and they want to get that cloud washed away.
Well, and I know that better than most because for Sports Illustrated 2 years ago, I picked Missouri to get to the Final Four moments before they were beaten in the first round.
Well, you've been wrong. You've been wrong before.
And I haven't heard the end of that.
No, I'm sure. 64-42 Missouri. Richardson tries the three and gets it through.
We said he pumped up a lot of three-pointers. It shows you the range.
Ray Richardson now has 6 points. 64-45 Missouri. Smith in underneath. He couldn't get it to go, but he's fouled by Van Poelgeest. There's the guy they call Drago from the Netherlands.
Watch Smith now come across. Look at him put up his hand. Give a target there for the ball. Gets it right there where he wants it. Reverses, goes up strong. Doesn't get the basket. But gets to the line for 2.
Byron Irvin returns. Irvin's first appearance in the second half. Smith at the line.
Doug Smith probably the player most affected by Norm Stewart's absence, wouldn't you say, Jay? His degeneracy sort of came at the same time Norm went out.
I think he's put a lot of pressure on himself. He loves basketball. He loves his teammates. They were telling me at the recognition dinner the other night for the Tigers in Columbia that he broke down and cried for nearly 5 minutes as he embraced Sambodi because he was realizing they were coming to the end of the season. He wanted to do so much, and he loves these fellows he plays with. He's a very emotional kid. And there's Al Eberhard, who is now on the staff at Missouri, and he was a banger. He's on the right there, and he, as Gary mentioned, should help the Tigers down the stretch. The pass coming in, and let's see who it'll belong to. Nebraska. Into the game for Nebraska. Number 22, Jed Bargan for the first time. Jed's an all-stater. His father, Gary, an assistant for Nebraska.
Kind of unusual to have 2 coaches' sons playing on the same team. Bo Reed, we mentioned earlier.
Bargan walked. His pop won't like that. 13:05 remaining Kemper beginning to fill up. The Bedlam series will continue in game 2. K-State and Kansas will go at it.
How about that rivalry? Each team winning on the opposing team's home court this year, so nothing cinched there with those two teams playing.
Underneath, 2 more for Doug Smith.
The second half for Smith has been a good one, and I think it's important because he has been suffering, as we mentioned. He needs the confidence coming back, and it's a good half for him to get on track.
Argan loses it underneath, but it was last touched by Church. Bo Reed along with Rich King returning, as it'll be Von Poelgeest and Richardson sitting down. Danny Nee, there's a fellow who, of course, went to school at St. Mary's of the Plains out in Dodge City at one time. That three-pointer won't go, and King charged with a push-off underneath as Johnson tried to get the three-pointer. That's 5 on King, and he's gone. King's out of this game with 12:37 remaining.
He was having a good second half offensively. He was taking it right to Leonard. 7'2" sophomore. Hits the bench as they sit down. Disappointed. Everybody loves to play this game. You hate to be taken out either by a coach or on foul troubles. And there you see King early with the push down low on Church, who had good position screening him out.
Pete Manning, who just came in, commits the foul. Irvin gets the basket, and he'll go to the line to try to make it a three-point play. The foul on Manning. 14 points now for Irvin.
Well, there are smiles all around from the Tigers. They are having a good time for the first time in a while tonight.
When you watch there, Manning he just creams him as Irvin goes down.
Well, I mentioned earlier, I know Coach Stewart is watching from his home in Columbia tonight, and I sure hope this brings a smile to him, and hope he's convalescing and feeling a lot better.
He has a smile anytime those Tigers are on top.
That's Eric Johnson down in the paint, 71-47.
You know, Rich Daly was asked at the press conference yesterday, would Norm Stewart be showing up here at some point? There were a lot of rumors he might be coming.
That's not going to happen.
Well, the strange thing was, Rich refused to answer the question, leaving it up in the air as a mystery. I think it's making everybody wonder, and it's kind of intriguing.
Well, I don't think it'll happen, I'll tell you that. I know that Norm's lovely wife, Virginia's got him in tow, and his doctors have him in tow. He had a very, very rugged operation, and the convalescence period is going to take some time. Church in tight. Couldn't get it down. Foul charge to Eric Johnson.
Pass inside right now. You see Church getting posted up down low. We look at it from the top side, going back through, and Johnson reaches in, and watch Church's reaction right here. Ooh, he gives it. He says he wanted the basket.
For Johnson, his 4th personal. Church at the line. Church shooting 75.3 at the stripe.
And he hit 20 of his last 22 free throws. It was 11 for 11 at Kansas State, even though the Tigers dropped that ball game on a last-second tip-in by Massett.
Church comes up empty there, and it's 71-49 with 11.5 to play. Bo Reed takes it in. Rejected by Smith.
Reed
Manning
still
got it back out.
Reed still without a point. Probably what do I have to do as he gets the
Caprice Owens put it up. Foul underneath. And it was called on Doug Smith. For Smith, that's 3. And 0-0. Caprice Owens will go to the line. Leonard's going to come back in for Missouri. And Smith will go out.
Now here's Bo Reed making the drive. He goes up the shot. Here comes Smith right there. Look at that ball, definitely still on the way up. Good block by Smith. A lot of talent in that young guy there. You saw just sitting on the bench, Smith.
Caprice Owens had a high of 16 against Chaminade. Only a 41% free throw shooter. Leonard getting it down to Coward.
Well, and as you mentioned, Caprice Owens has struggled all season. I always have a question about guys who wear 0-0 on their jerseys.
Sure don't want it to be your scoring average, do you?
Leonard takes it up. Wouldn't go for him. Rebounded away by Pete Manning for Nebraska. Down to Johnson. Johnson on the run, putting it up. Manning put it up and got it down. Pete Manning scores, and for Manning, that's 3 points in the game. 71-51, Missouri by 20 as we near the midway point of the second half.
Really, Jay, the team's just kind of been playing it out. You can see it in their eyes there.
Leonard with the follow after Irvin's shot wouldn't go down. Leonard now has 15. Arizona gets by Washington State. They had a little trouble.
We can see the Cougars probably held the ball in that one.
You bet.
For dear life.
Well, you don't blame them. That's their only shot. That was Colorado's only shot, and they almost got it done against Oklahoma. Coward getting it from Irvin. Coward. Off it goes to Church. 2 more.
Well, he spotted Church right at the last moment right there. And I want to mention something about Bo Reed. He's having a tough night offensively, but he was named to the 3rd-team academic All-American. He's the only sophomore kid that was honored on that 3 team. So besides being a good basketball player, he's struggling tonight, a very, very good student.
Bargain for the 3, didn't get it. And we've got a timeout. Now this from your friends at Phillips 66.
After the last 3 games here at 85%.
Foul underneath, charge to Pete Manning. Manning's 3rd. Curry, I'm wondering if Nebraska loses this game. They got an NIT bid in the future?
Well, it looks like it to me that they would have. Did they not go to the NIT last year? And so they've had a history of postseason play. And a lot of people in the East think of Nebraska. And when they think Nebraska, it's only football.
Oh,
and
they draw very well in Lincoln.
And not only that, but they had 16 of the last 17 years. They've had winning seasons in basketball. As difficult as it is to combat football in that state, I think we ought to give that credit to the Nebraska basketball program.
I think Danny Nee is really on the right track. Nathan Bunton, second free throw. He's got 2. Timeout. 79-56, Missouri. The Tiger Golden Girls and the Tiger. Well, we could have shown a little more of that before we went to the game summary.
You see the field goal shooting.
Hurry up,
still a blistering 60%. 3-point shooting. Nebraska 6 out of 12, though. Turnovers, Nebraska committing another 6. 16 turnovers. Missouri handling the ball very well, only 6 turnovers.
Gary, I guess the biggest surprise of this tournament came in '78 when Missouri was the number 7 seed, and they won it all 71-68 in an overtime game against K-State.
Well, Missouri's been in that championship 5 times
and won it 3 times. 78, 82, and 87.
Well, and that was the first double overtime game in this tournament, and the second one was this afternoon.
That's right. Byron Irvin on the run, holds it up, finds Coward. That's as far as it goes. Rebounded outside by DePriest Owens. Owens takes it in.
Be a block.
And it is going to count. Let's see. Basket count. Basket does count.
Watch DePriest Owens right here feeling his way. Jumps away from Coward right there. Coward gets shots for the Look at Coward.
Of course, Coward loves this floor. Wasn't it Lee Coward that 2 years ago beat Kansas on a last-second shot to win this conference tournament?
It was indeed. 3-point play. That makes it 79-59.
You talk about the credential of DePriest Owens coming in as a freshman. He was picked early in the preseason as one of the 15 top freshmen to make an immediate impact. Of course, that hasn't happened, and we said a lot of times that happens. Kids have a rough time adjusting coming out of high school to college ball. There's a lot of difference.
Nebraska's Rich Daly working on the delay game now.
Yeah, well, and he can do it against that 2-3 zone. Oh, there they got beauty. Coward to Leonard. Contact. Woo. That almost knocked the microphone off back there.
Well, Leonard's only shot 61% in his last 13 games.
Of course, I was kidding Gary Leonard earlier this season. He's a big fan of the Doors and Jim Morrison, which was a 60s rock group whom none of his teammates even have ever heard about. And I always tease Leonard about that. I think he's going to open a record store someday soon.
You know, he plays a pretty mean guitar. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but he
Not
played Light
too.
My Fire on that dunk a few minutes ago.
Yes, he did. Well, he's tough. 81-59, Missouri.
Look at Rich Daly over there, hands on hips, showing off his suspenders. I mean, this is a suspender hit here.
He's a very interesting fella, this Rich Daly. There's Irvin. Wouldn't go. Rebound Johnson for Nebraska. Oh, nice pass there, and it wouldn't go down for Ray Richardson. DePriest Owens gets it back. Banks it up, it won't go. Wow, getting rough underneath. Foul on Bo Reed, I believe. Yeah, Bo Reed. Number 3 on Reed. Here's the action.
Good bounce pass. Only pass right there is going to get through. Coming up, Richardson misses a shot. A try for a follow there, looks like by Manning. And then DePriest Owens with another one coming up here. Still doesn't get it. And then Bo Reed coming over the top with his body's all over.
Nathan Bunton. His dad, the late Bill Bunton, great star at Michigan.
Got good temperament. You know, he started 50 ball games his first 2 years. This year he hasn't started any. Only 124 shots this season. Took 323 as a freshman, so he's had a big adjustment to make in his junior year.
Missouri leads at 83-59. Inside the 6-minute mark. Richardson, air ball, rebound, taken down by Bunton. Off to Coward, shovel to Leonard, and a charge against Leonard. That's 4 on Gary Leonard.
The Tigers.
I think Coward's thinking about an alley-oop on this play right here. Because
Leonard,
there's
right?
Irvin. He was right underneath the basket ready for it, and it looked like me he was going to throw it up, and he spotted Leonard cutting instead.
Great
Good
picture
overhead
and
shot,
view
and I don't know,
from
the
way
defensive man
upstairs.
there looked like he might have been moving.
Yep. Reed taking it into the paint. Blocked by Leonard. Leonard, outlet pass. Howard, back to Irwin. Now it's Bunton, and he's fouled. Bunton got it down.
Bunton says, look what I found. He waited for the 3rd time, and finally he got it. Watch the kick out here. Leonard with a good rebound, an overhead pass. Coward checking the defensive man behind and just drops it back off to Irvin, who goes up, loses it right there, it looks like. And then Bunton, the strong follow, gets it up and down.
We've got Bargan back in along with Von Poelgeest. They're playing right now with Richardson.
Jay, you mentioned Nathan Bunton's father, Bill Bunton.
Yeah.
Of course, the Bunton family, is everybody knows about them. I don't know this, though, that Byron Irvin's family has an argument for Family of the Year in basketball. His cousin is Doc Rivers of the Atlanta Hawks.
That's right.
He has 3 brothers playing ball. One is a point guard, Lance, at Colorado State. His other brother, McLaughlin, is a high school senior in South Shore High School in Chicago. And his youngest brother, Michael, is an 8th grader whom Sports Illustrated 2 years ago ranked the best 6th grader in America.
Well, I want to report on him later. That foul on Leonard is his 5th, and he goes out. Leonard with 17 points. Quite a night for the big guy from Belleville, Illinois.
Good look at Gary right there. 17 points, 4 rebounds. Watch the play inside. Another bounce pass that gets through. As Leonard tries to come through, a straight pass there, he'd have been able to get a hand on it. Poelgeest takes it up strong.
Poelgeest misses the chance for the 3-point play. Coward to Smith, off the glass. Nice touch. Doug Smith now with 14 points. 88-61, Tigers over the Huskers.
Coward now with 9 assists. That's a new Missouri season high.
That was Eric Johnson. Up again, Von Poelgeest. Smith rebounds out to Coward. Missouri having some fun.
Yep, this is the kind of game you like in the first round.
Curry, you weren't with us in the opening moments of this one, but you could tell Missouri, they came out and just started to click.
Well, I missed the game because this thing's been long over, I think, before I even got here.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, and the Tigers defensively very strong. They just shut Nebraska down in that early going.
Well, an impressive performance, as we mentioned at halftime. Team turmoil all season, and they have looked tonight at least like they've put everything behind them and have come out to make a great showing in this tournament.
Johnson tried to get it underneath. They battled for it, and getting it out of there was Bunton. Down toward Church, bangs it in.
He lost the handle on that
I don't know how Bunton get that ball out of there that time. 8 points for Church. 90-61. It's the biggest lead in the game for the Tigers.
Well, the Tigers aren't going to have a laugher tomorrow afternoon because they'll be going up against either Kansas or Kansas State.
Missouri has a lot of folks here, but either one of those clubs will have their fans here tomorrow in mass. You can bet that. Foul is on Button. Oh, no, wait a minute. They called it on Church, his second. Well, going out is Coward. He gets a fine hand, and Byron Irvin goes out. Coleman and Peeler back in, and the Missouri Tiger fans around Kemper standing and applauding the play. Von Folge's, the left-hander, hits the free throw.
Yeah, we talked about Coward, who just left the ball game with 9 assists, a season high for Missouri. He's 6th on their career list. Now had 301 coming in, gives him 310 for the career.
Three and a half to play. 90-63 Missouri. Now this from our friends at Phillips 66. The official sponsor, Big 8 Basketball, for top quality, high detergent, unleaded gasoline. They clean up your car's fuel injectors and keep that car of yours running clean. Next time, fill up at Phillips 66. Well, Button is sitting it out, and let me correct his point total on this game. 15 for him. Or not Irwin I'm talking about. Byron Irvin had 15. Button right now has 7 in the game. He's played well. Smith with 14. And also in double figures, Leonard with 17. Here's Peeler. Off to Button. Coleman. Greg Church also in the lineup now. And the Tigers are playing out the string. Button did a good job getting it back after it had been batted by Johnson.
You know, a hint of this emotional game may have come yesterday when the Missouri players talked about all the negative stuff that is going on and what has been written about and reported on. And Greg Church kind of defended Rich Daly and saying that, look, it's the players who play the games, and Coach Daly didn't lose these 4 down the stretch. It's not his fault. He gets all the heat and we get all the glory. It just doesn't seem fair, and we are together for this tournament.
Well, they certainly have been together here this evening. No question about that. Another turnover. Coleman with a pass to Smith. Oh, my. And here's Dupree Owens coming back the other way. That's put up by Richardson. It won't go, and we're in just a run situation right now. And Coleman gets it, and he'll have a chance for the three-point play. That's the first bucket of the game for Coleman.
Well, this is fatting your average time right now. Coleman averaging just under 2 points. See Peeler behind the back dribble. Coleman underneath. He goes up, hesitates as he goes up, makes sure, gets it off the glass. He'll go to the line for the three-point play. Ooh, look at there.
Norm Stewart written on the shoe by Bill Bunton. Fouling out of the game, Eric Johnson. He has 15 points. Church goes to the sidelines, and into the game comes Jim Horton, number 13, the 6'10 freshman from Rockbridge in Columbia. Coleman at the line. It won't go. Horton tapped it up again, and it is Bunton, and we have a tie-up, and the arrow points for Nebraska.
Both clubs still scrapping, even though this game is out of reach. The kids really fighting, getting the chance to play, some bench players.
Into the game for Nebraska, number 20, Todd Kosha. That's Kosha with it right now. Bargan getting it around to Richardson. Dupree Owens and Van Poelgeest in there. Three-pointer for Ray Richardson.
Richardson has started the last 3 ball games. He had games of 9, 19, and 12 points.
Came out of South Bend High. Or actually, Adams High in South Bend, Indiana, I should say. 92-66. Missouri with 1:35 to play. Peeler jumping it off. Horton put it up, didn't get it. Horton has it. Horton's a very popular youngster on the campus in Columbia, and The fans like to see him get a chance to put some points on the board.
Well, Rich Daly has told me this year that, Horton or some other people could have played. This is a strong Missouri ball club, and he says in another year or two that he's going to be a factor for the Tigers.
He's getting stronger all the time, hard worker. He's had some physical problems. Coleman, this time. Oh, no basket. No basket. Charge. Let's take a look at Horton a moment ago, Gary.
Well, the freshman, he's going to get a pass on the baseline here as Peeler drops it off right over the head. Richards right there. He goes up, gets a hit. Can't get it up the basket, but fights for the offensive rebound. Stays right with it and gets 2 points. Peeler coming down, just feeling his way. The left hand. Watch Coleman now. Bam, and the defense definitely set right there. Ron Zetcher, second in the league, official-wise, as far as years of service now. The leading guy with years of service, Big 8 officiating, Ron Spitz.
Von Pogies gets it the bargain. Caprice Owens has it rejected. We've got a foul in the game now. Number 10, Mike Wawrzyniak, freshman from Parma, Ohio. He's number 10. And Brad Sutton, the junior out of Grand Rapids, Michigan Union High, number 35 in the game. So it's Sutton, Wawrzyniak, Bunton, and Horton, and Coleman out there. And Caprice Owens at the line hits it.
Wawrzyniak coming off the bench has seen limited time, but he was a great scorer in high school, and he's 8 of 12 from the field this year for Missouri.
Led the state of Ohio his senior year. That's him, number 10, the blonde bomber right there. 94-67, Missouri, 40 seconds to play. All belongs to the Tigers. Missouri led 47-31 at halftime. They've had this one pretty much the way they wanted it. Rich Daly's, we call them suspenders, Curry. My grandmother used to call them Galluses.
Now they call them braces.
How about Sutton hitting from the corner to make it 96-67? Richardson for three. Towering three-pointer.
NBA style.
Richardson has 12 points. 96-70, Missouri.
Missouri just from the start of this game went and took it away. I know a lot of people are expecting this maybe to be a pretty good ball game.
Horton has 4 points. 98-70. 4 seconds left, and the Tiger fans would like to see the century mark. Button's yelling out there.
Instead of Wawrzyniak, we used to call alphabet in the Army.
No,
Instead of running out.
Missouri wins it 98-70 over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Missouri will play the winner of K-State, Kansas tomorrow afternoon.